Okay, Anu, get us started. What do we have here today?
I want to shout out a warm welcome to the parents and students who are excited in starting something new with us with SK. That is the SK research program, which we have been working on as a team to present to them. And welcome the students who want to build their research muscle with us through SK research program. And Harpal and I are here today to talk about the vision of this program and to introduce how research is one of the important things, important skills that students need to develop in high school, which will be helpful for them in their journey in academics and beyond. And that is the goal of our talk today. So with that, I'm welcoming Harpal to talk a little bit more about why do we need to do the research and what is the vision we are offering.
Thank you, Anu. So when we started the working, you and I started working on this, the project started out of spite for frustration when I saw my students who had gone to amazing summer programs like MIT RSI, Beaverworks, and Cosmos. And they came back, but when I would ask them questions like, what did you really learn or what was interesting about it? They would not talk about amazing experiences or aha moments with research. And predominantly because it was the first time either they were getting introduced to research, which was in a foreign environment, or they were doing research mostly for a checkbox for their college applications, uh, or they were just being forced into the process by their parents. So all of those were kind of the whole ethos of Success Coach as a company is we're trying to build love for learning in our students, and research is a critical part of the learning. We tried bringing in partners from outside who we try to build some of this process with, but I think we're going to take this in-house. And so this is Success Coach's first attempt at taking research in-house as a horizontal component. Like when we started as a company, we started with just college admissions counseling. We realized we need to go downstream to work with students on mentoring them on college application skills on like writing and time management. And we got into success summer programs because we wanted them to learn how to do research. And then we realized we need to provide tutoring as an offering so people could have immediate effect with SAT or any subject. And now this is on lines of something very similar. This is the latest incarnation where we're now saying research is a fundamental element beyond tutoring, mentoring, and it actually works in line with those. So the vision is, I'll leave the structured details, Ranu, to you to talk to, but my vision with this program is I typically meet students who are not clear about why they want to take on careers. They take on careers simply because either they're being, that's the vogue, like computer science. Everybody says, I want to do computer science. But the next question about what about computer science, they don't know. I want to go to medicine. Why medicine? Details, they don't know. So one hope of the program is so they get people think detail about what kind of research or what kind of things they really want to do in life, multidimensional, which is between bio and math, or STEM and humanities. Um, and the other thing is just making this available not in the heat of an admissions cycle. Say, oh my goodness, you didn't have research on your projects. Now we need to get you into a research program. I want us to resist that desire to help students with that as a mindset. You want to research because you're genuinely interested in a topic. And if you see what we're going to show today and in the coming weeks, is our mentors who are frankly, they are who's who in their own areas of their fields, coming with projects and enticing you, seducing you, if you will, with specific aspects of research that you might like. And if you don't like a research project, that's okay. Don't come to take Success Coach research. But yeah, that is the whole idea. We have a time boxed element to get this done in between October and December, because we want this to be before your summer programs, applications. Anything,
So
please.
what I would like to add on to that is to think about it. Doesn't matter which field you go into, what area of academics you want to explore. The basic two asks or requirements are critical research and analytical skills, along with the ability to present it in an empowered way, whether it is through communication, giving a talk, or writing a paper, or analyzing things. These are the key skills that students need to have. And what better way than having it as part of our offering? And in fact, through our pilot offering, it's a 3-month offering, which is going to run from October to December. By then, they're building their curiosity muscle along with developing analytical and research skills. Hey, I like this topic. What more can I do about it? What more can I learn? What can I do to compare information out there and build my research muscle along the way? So it is a short but sure way of thinking this through and working down for just 4 to 5 weeks, where you try to own an area and build more. So with that, Harpal can talk more about the research and college admission process and the X factor that you can build through research.
And the key audience of this meeting is I'm hoping the parents are also listening in because they will play a key role in educating or enticing or selling this concept to their kids, which is we are now in a world where in a post-COVID world where having your 4.0s or 3.8 or 3.9s on GPAs is not enough. We're seeing college competition going through the roof. Holistic expectations are far beyond did you do a project in Timbuktu or did you save, standard projects are, which is like, I am educating girls in Afghanistan and stuff. And those have become very cliche topics. And colleges are also getting sick and tired of seeing those as your extracurriculars. Now, the hope is with some of these research skills, the 3 R's, as I call them, reading, writing, arithmetic, are the table stakes. You get them with your GPA, but showcasing research, not in terms of just pay for play programs or going outside to research in the summer, but research you do across multiple years. And if you have a relationship built out with maybe a research professor at a college who's going to give you a recommendation, who talks about that muscle you built and the excitement, it doesn't have to be hours and hours of research in a lab. But if you show an excitement towards a topic and you are working towards that, it's going to show your application apart. And colleges want to see that, perspective that you bring. So research and computer science, we emphasize this a lot, which is we have great tutors who can teach you CS, take you to competitive programs in CS. And the same thing we're doing with research now to build that part. So hopefully that'll show in your profile.
Yeah. And to add on to that, it is just think about it like the way I talk about research is learning for the pure joy and passion behind learning. And that to me defines research, right? Like once you get into that mode, you're able to take apart any given topic, analyze it, see what's out there, and work your way towards defining a new question and finding new answers. And that can be applied to anything of your interest. So, with that, let's talk a little bit more about why research is needed for polishing your high school experience or enhancing your high school experience. Research actually gives or empowers high school students to follow through their academic interest in a meaningful way. When I have students coming to me for summer program or academic interest, they're like, oh, I love this subject. And then I ask them, why do you love this subject? What have you done that shows you love this subject? And they are stuck trying to formulate an answer. But if you have done research in a meaningful way, the answers are going to jump at you. And that's where we see SK research program coming in and helping them there. How do you pick a topic, set goals? How do you go about comparing information out there? How do you formulate something? How do you write about something and then speak about it, right? Like that's a meaningful orchestrated process. And this helps them to showcase that they own an area and boost their confidence in addition to their academic interest. So with that, Harpal, why don't you chime in on why do you think research is needed?
Like I said, it's just depth of the person. We're seeing it's a very unfair market out there. Expecting students, honestly, I would personally, I would hate to do research as a 17, 18-year-old. But that's the nuance of this new market. I'm talking about me 20, 30 years ago. But obviously, these students are a lot more informed. They are a lot more intelligent and a lot smarter with their expectations of life. So building depth in who you are, generally becoming an exciting person. Like I know some of the projects we're going to talk about are mosquitoes and, in Singapore, and Tessa's talking about, humanities-based projects. If those connect with you and if you can hold a conversation with somebody for even 3 minutes at a party, you meet somebody, or give a small 5-minute TED talk, or if you can actually get an idea of research saying, I want to learn this multidimensionally. Every subject you learn in school, the problem is more they teach it to you in one dimension. Chemistry is only within chemistry, not within ethics of or political science or economics and stuff. This is your chance to build that multidimensional perspective, which will land you in either an Ivy League college or an honors program or both. So, yeah. Okay, so these, you see this library of projects from our team. Like, this is just the beginning. I know some other teammates are putting together projects. What you see is a variety. We have engineering projects, we have biology projects, med school, GIS, computer science, and pre-law. Like, we've tried hard to cover the realm. Like, whoever you are, if you have interest in business, you could take on something with pre-law or the GIS project. You might even take the one with Shrikar. If you're a CS, computer science geek, you might just do what Shrikar is doing, or you might actually get interested in doing what Alisaneme is doing with engineering, understanding that most of these people have multidimensional perspectives. Like Alisaneme is med school and mechanical engineering. You've got Sammy, who's done pre-med and law. The chance to interact with these mentors at that meaningful level is where I'm trying to get you to think about this project.
So think about it. Think about it like this is your, we are offering you a library of mentors, each one with their specialty and expertise, and we are only going to add more, right, Harpal, in the months to come, and that would put you like I would be like a lost child in a candy land, right? Like selecting between, oh, this project is interesting. Oh, I want to try this, right? But whichever ones you try, you have exciting mentors who are pretty much experts in those areas who cannot wait to take you to the step of researching and coming out with, hey, I like this and I can do more in this area. So the one-on-one interactions would mean a lot in flexing your muscles in the area of research and understanding it and developing it.
With this is where I had Anu kind of, because of her technical background, her background in biology and her work she's done at MIT in the past with Smith College as well in her with her MA. I wanted somebody with depth to manage the overall project. Anu's leading this project end to end. She's put the milestones, the expectations for each from each student and each mentor. That's been put in place. So with that, Anu, tell us a little bit about your background, how that's going to complement what the mentors are going to do, or how will the students maybe interact with you at some point, if at all, in the process, but please.
So thank you, Harpal, for introducing me. And in fact, I call this project the Success Koach Research Program my pet baby or pet child, because we had been talking, Harpal and me had been talking for months on this. And my background is in molecular biology, and I've had extensive research more than 18 years over, at Smith College, at MIT Human Genome Project, and Tufts, where I got my medical, PhD degree, and Stanford. And what I get excited about research is doesn't matter at what level you pursue, it gives you a certain amount of confidence, ownership, and analytical skills and research skills along with presentation skills, which are the need of the minute or the hour in whatever the students want to do in their life, whether it is academics or towards their career, right? So we put this project together, and what I'm envisioning is students learning to build their research muscle, and I match mentors based on their interests and what the students want to explore, and we have like 4 to 5 weeks of going through the research project with the experts, and I would be your overall lead person, making sure everything runs smoothly, and I'll be involved as much as it is needed. And whenever you have a question or a doubt, of course the first person you would go to is your own mentor, but I will be overseeing this. And at the end, we will also be very involved in seeing how your presentations are coming, how your research paper is coming, and be involved in every point of your step along the way. And that to me is really, really exciting. And I'm thrilled to have this opportunity.
I mean, what you're now seeing is an amalgamation of multiple mentors from Success Coach, where with meaningfully coming and getting involved at different steps. So the more the mentors you touch within Success Coach, the better is going to be your journey through high school with us. And so you have mentors who can bring in subject matter expertise with tutoring, with career mentoring, and now with research mentoring. And it's quite possible you might have three of those. You could be having a research mentor in a completely different field versus what you're going for tutoring help or just with career mentoring help. And heck, your essays coach could be different. Okay? So it all depends upon you. How much are you open to getting the help from us? What kind of help do you want? And we have subject matter experts. We also have teams that can maintain the lineage with you for a period of time. So as I said, Success Coach is an experiment within itself to make a bigger difference. So as the model evolves, you're seeing people like Anu take on a more formal role in these areas as well. Okay. Okay. So what kind of skills are these students going to develop now? Like they'll be involved with these 5 to 8 hours working with these mentors, but walk us through what they can expect to see new in their skills.
I would be thrilled to go on and on about this. But the key points being, of course, your critical thinking and analytical skills. How do I look at a topic? How do I, as the next questions, read the materials that are out there and formulate, hey, what can I ask that makes sense logically? The next question, how do I follow it up? How do I work with my mentor and develop problem solving skills? And another thing I would point out is time management, efficient time management, because your fall schedule is already full. That's where we ease you into our program and short bursts of work that needs simple things to do but follow a meaningful question through from point A to point Z and come up with a paper at the end, right? So you learn time management, communication skills, technical skills, teamwork and collaboration if you're working within your cohorts with other students who are also interested in different aspects of the same project. And focus attention to detail is something that research alone gives you, right? And that is something you need for the rest of your life. And another important thing to look at is ethical considerations, right? Like research and ethics and integrity, right? So these are the newer skills that we can promise that your students would be developing with us.
Yeah. No, I like it. I like it's very clear that most of these, when we talk with college applications, you can spaghetti your personal essay with pretty much all these things. Like I know students struggle with talking about analytical skills or what kind of problem solving did I really do? I don't know. They sound very clueless. Teamwork is an area which they have a very hard time explaining. So even though at Success Coach you might work with a very small team, you could actually take this project to a larger team. You could take like a few students in your classroom, build your own cohort with your teacher who's going to give you a recommendation letter and showcase your teamwork and collaboration. So you're literally building your resume as you're going through the high school process through these things. Okay. Well, clearly there are a lot of challenges with doing research. I mean, heck, sometimes it can be very boring if you don't really like the topic. But I think that we will that will be able to get over the hurdle because you'll choose projects which you find exciting, that the ones you want to wake up and do something about. But walk us through, please. What are some of the challenges students face with research?
As you hit the nail on the wall, Harpal, it's choosing a topic. But here we are offering you a library of mentor experts, right? And they have exciting topics. So you go through the classroom and choose who do you want to work with, what topic excites you. I mean, it cannot be more inviting than that to begin with, right? And then formulate your research questions. What has been done already, which your mentors and you would talk about? You would read papers or read current information, right? From credible resources, right? Not just anything that's written on the web these days. How do you go about picking credible resources, analyzing it? And what is the next meaningful question to ask? How would you run your research after that? Right? And evaluating resources, which is something people don't learn easily. And our program here is offering you that chance. And how do you organize and structure a paper and think about it, formulate it, and then effectively write it? And you will get review from your mentor. And also, if you're working in a cohort, peer review is also a big part of it, right? That's where collaborative thinking comes into effect. And then citing resources and avoiding plagiarism, that is a need of the minute where you need to have these things no matter where you do research, right? So the challenges are right here, but we have effective mentors and guides who would walk you through every step of the way.
Big thing what we've done with this program, or we aspire to do, is reduce the friction. We're not asking you to apply to a program. We're not asking you to put applications. We're not asking you to put money on the table. We will fund this project. We're asking you for just your raw energy, your passion, and your time, which obviously is very critical to the youngsters. But Obviously, if you find motivation in a project, you will do it. But knowing these things, like I did not go through this kind of research thinking in my career, which is why I kind of at times I think of myself as a hack. But if you have a structured way of thinking about problems, about the hypothesis, and about, you will become so much better at your debating skills. Just EQ skills that you develop are going to be huge for you. Okay? Right. Walk us through, please, what the research process at Success Coach is going to be. How different will it be from what people are going to expect, or how will this help maybe even them to further research later, please?
Absolutely. So the philosophy behind SKRP, the Success Coach Research Program, is that we believe in having a proper approach, a one-on-one research mentoring chance for students to learn and understand research and fall in love with the process and become empowered to do this process with us and take it further on. Maybe it's a multi-year project, or maybe you will do it later on as a cohort with your own school friends and a teacher, right? And as Harpal had already mentioned, we have mentors who are like leading experts in their own fields, coming from Harvard, Stanford, Columbia, and famous places where they have done this process, right? Like they're owners of this process. And we offer a variety of fields and exciting topics. And as we said before, you will develop curiosity, drive, passion, how to think critically, analytically about a subject and ask the further questions, analyze, compare, come up with a project idea, work a paper, give a talk. But if you come to the nuts and bolts of what we are offering, it is a short project because we take into account that students are going to be busy in the fall, right, with balancing so many things. So we ease them into a short, sweet, clear project, which will go from A to point Z in a very structured way. So they work with mentors and identify a topic which the mentors offer. And the mentors would have short videos, like 15-minute videos each week. And the student would watch the video, 15 minutes all it takes, and it's asynchronous, which means at their convenient time. And then based on the video, they will have to complete an assignment, which is a homework, which would take another 15 minutes or 20 minutes tops. And then with that, they would go and meet the mentor. Short meeting, 15 to 20 minutes, but hey, put 30 minutes on their calendar and meet with them. Then this process, step A, B, C, would be repeated 4 to 5 times, during which you will pick a project topic, compare information that's out there, and then build or formulate a question, and then go about the steps of answering that question through research, and then synthesize the material you have developed or the data you have developed, and then make a meaningful one-page write-up, which is a clear, effective written presentation, and then followed by a short 5-minute TED talk about the topic. So this is all organized and it is convenient. So per week, you would not spend more than 45 minutes or 40 minutes for covering the video, the assigned homework, and the one-on-one meeting. So this is the process we have for the 5-week period, which we are presenting this program for.
We realize that some of this can get monotonous and you have a lot going on in your life. But know this thing that this is not an option. Having good research skills, as I started earlier, the 3 hours, and now the 5 hours of the world. You don't really have an option. What you can do is, as I say, if you have to kiss a frog in the morning, do it first thing in the morning, right? You want to get this head on. Like the biggest travesty you could do is take this as a free initiative and investment and say, I can do it a year later. You're not doing yourself a favor. You're just postponing the inevitable that you will have to do, and it'll just be a lot harder. The sooner you learn the process, even if you're a ninth grader listening to this video, or 10th grader, heck, if you're an 11th grader, I've never done it, this is absolutely what you want to do now. So you build the chops for the summer program applications, and you've done some of this also. You're not sounding like fresh off the boat, never ever done this kind of research before. You don't want to sound that, okay? But yeah, here, let's talk about the different milestones I know that people will have to go through in the process. I think you alluded to some of this, but please.
Yeah, so the milestone would be starting out, you would look at the library of topics given through the classroom, and you would say, hey, I want to talk about, say, Shraddha's project, Wolbachia and mosquitoes being bred in Singapore, right? So you would have a meeting with the mentor who would say, hey, your interest seems to match with this mentor, so you sign up with them. and you will work with them for 5 weeks. And I said through the steps A, B, C we talked about in the previous slide. And at the end of which you would have a research project paper, a 1-page paper, and a 5-minute presentation as their final achievement. And in between, there will be a lot of progress reports, which the mentor would say, like, where were you? What did you learn? What are you building? And where is it taking you towards, right? So these are the key steps. And the endpoint milestone would be your project submission as in the form of a paper and or a presentation to go with it.
There are two implicit aspects of this milestone which are not mentioned here, which obviously because they're implicit. One is parental involvement. We do want parents to get also genuinely excited about the research project the student is wanting to do, so they have a discussion about it. And after your final submission to us, I think the bigger thing is if you can share this with maybe a club in your school or maybe a teacher and give a talk in your class saying at the end of the winter break saying, I did this project and how does this align with some of the goals? And you'll be surprised how many students will want to come and jump in with you to take it to the next step if you have a vision. Kind of already builds a CEO muscle in you as a student to build it out, and the camaraderie you build with your family, with the teacher, with the other students. So think of this in some way as a social experiment for yourself. Okay, so here's a sample project. Anu, walk us through what they would do with Shraddha if they took on this project.
Without stealing Shraddha's thunder, she has a formulated playlist video coming up soon. So, so will every other mentor. But just to give you a sample example of how it would be, right? So Shraddha is working in the field of biology and asking exciting questions, and she's an field expert in that area. And one of her questions, in fact, I was like, hey, can I sign up? In fact, I want to sign up for all of the mentors of offerings, right? Like that's how exciting it is. Why is Singapore breeding millions of mosquitoes? That's one of her questions. And if you think about it, she's looking at the interaction of an organism called Wolbachia and why Singapore is breeding Aedes mosquitoes to suppress them actually. But we would think, right, like, hey, why are they breeding mosquitoes in millions? But this organism has a unique interaction to suppress the mosquitoes, right? So I can think about walking into it. Some student may take up, hey, how does Wolbachia function? What is the interaction with the mosquitoes? Is this a strategic approach? Are there ethical concerns behind it? That can be a project by itself. How exactly are they breeding mosquitoes? Is that a safe environment? What more can be done? If we are targeting disease-causing Aedes mosquitoes, can we target Anopheles mosquitoes, which cause a different type of disease? But you see how one topic can have exciting pocket topics to pursue. And again, depending on whether the students work one-on-one or in cohorts, you can ask different questions. Each can own an area and do research, have those meetings, watch the asynchronous videos, do your homework, meet one-on-one, do this for 5 weeks, and at the end have a beautiful 1-page paper or a presentation on, hey, I took this topic of how does Wolbachia interact? What is the mechanism? And that's my project. So that's just an example. We have more to offer and more mentors with exciting topics.
You could take on follow-on projects from here, which is, I know the Bill Gates Foundation is trying this for a few years in Africa of breeding some of these mosquitoes for malaria. And you could look at how, the initial project could be learning about this mosquito, the Wolbachia, and then look contrasting that approach to what the Gates Foundation has been doing for maybe a couple of decades and how research has come a long way. And that in itself is very exciting as a topic to talk about. Or you could take from there, you could build out a case of a research project into the billions that the economy spends on just malaria, okay? Or why are African nations or some nations especially more prone to having a disastrous economy because of the mobility factor? So I don't know, I'm just throwing some things here because even I get excited, like Anu said, about this topic. And that's the whole idea, is to take a med school geek, make them into a more responsible poli-sci student, kind of on the line what Sammy realized after doing 4 years of pre-med, saying he wants to go to Georgetown and do political science. You could literally be a mini me to him, and you could learn those skills and not walk away from med school You could get into an honors program. You could get into a BSMD program because you have a larger multi-dimensional thinking perspective. And that's what we are trying to now build out. And by reducing the friction, trying to help you build multi-year projects. If you work with different other partners, they typically want to box you into 10 meetings across 3 months to come up with a paper and you're done. We're looking at doing this as a multi-year approach for you. Okay. All right. What are the next steps, please?
So the next steps is looking through, you're pretty much like, kid in the candy, world, looking through what we call our projects offerings, which are in the form of YouTube playlists. All mentors would be making their YouTube playlist, a 5-minute project idea. What are they offering? Their background, what is the topic they're offering, and why is it important? So you can look at that and pick, hey, I want to work here, right? And we'll also have links for the SK Classroom, where you can again see the projects offered. And then you schedule your time with your SK mentor to decide your research topics. And then there is a initial intake strategy meeting, after which you go through those 5 weeks, asynchronous videos, homework, one-on-one meeting, repeat that, rinse, repeat. And at the end of 5 to 6 weeks, the goal is to have a very good paper that you're proud of and a presentation or a presentation that goes with it. And you will be an expert, a mini expert in a small topic that you investigated. But this is pretty much, to me, putting the seeds for developing your foundation in research and boosting your academic credentials.
Wonderful, Anu. So this is great. And thank you so much for building this out with the team. So great, shout out to all the mentors who worked with you to put this together. And, hopefully the students will take this on and, build this project. And like I said, it's a time-bound project between October and December. You can still do more of it later, but this is where the research pilot is going on. Wow us with your work, and then we'll figure a way out to make this work next year as well. So thank you.
Thank you all.